Hey, farming friends, it's me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose, back with another edition of Farming Simulator 2017. And welcome back to Pine Cove Farm by Stevie. Today we're on single player. Now yesterday's video was doing a little bit of work, cutting trees in the multiplayer, but you guys have been texting me, telling me that you want me to do a LP on this, so we are going to do a Let's Play on this for single player as well as use it for multiplayer on the dedicated server. So today we're doing basically the same thing that we had started yesterday. I've already gotten all the trees out of here, and so basically I've picked up where we left off yesterday. So I've gotten all the trees cut and sold off, and now it's time to go ahead and do a little bit of stump grinding here. Now I've got my favorite little stump grinder here, which is the Owie stump grinder. What is it called? Let's look in here real quick. Under forestry equipment, it is right about here, the FM 700. I leased it. I didn't purchase it because that would just be way too much money, but still it was almost $4,000 to lease it. But luckily we made quite a bit of money selling off all the trees. Now I am playing in hard mode, which means I would normally start with $15,000, but because I did sell off a whole bunch of trees, I've got $37,000 now, which is going to help out a little bit as we get started. Well, let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on. Now the reason I love this particular, and I would call this a forestry mower, is it works both as a tree stump grinder or whatever, but it also works as a plow, which will come in handy as we define the field here. And we go through, after we've ground up all the stumps, we're going to need to go through and establish the perimeter of what we're going to be doing for seeding this area. And it just comes in nice and handy, so we will use it for that. But anyways, that's what we're going to work on today. We'll get these stumps ground up, and then we'll define our perimeter. We'll grab a plow, and we'll plow all this stuff up, and then we'll go from there. Let's get a little camera out so we can see what we're doing while we grind these up. Yeah, I really like this mod. It is really good. Now, I had some problems with this mod when we were playing on the dedicated server doing Pacific Inlet. And I don't know if it was the map or if it was the server. But I was having some issues with this mod acting really crazy on the tractor, in that it would sometimes just stick the tractor right where it was at, or it would shoot across the field when we were trying to move. I talked to Rambo a little bit about it. He was saying they had the same issues with this particular mod on his server, or not with this mod, but he had had issues with other mods on his server with that particular map, and he felt like it was sort of the map. I don't know, one way or the other, I was having some issues with it, which was upsetting because I love this mod, and I wanted it to work really well, and so I'm glad it does work well. I feel like I missed a tree there. I think there were 4 in here. Let's look real close, make sure we didn't miss one. Wait, did I just drive over it? Oh, that's just a dirt spot. Alright, I don't see it. But yeah, it seems to be working really, really good in single player, so I'm happy to have my favorite little stump grinder slash forestry mower back to use again. Speaking of things that don't work well on the dedicated server but work just absolutely fine in single player, yesterday I mentioned I was having some issues with Game Extension Mod not allowing me to delimb the trees on the dedicated server when I cut them down, and so I took it off and I used it. I delimbed just fine after taking that mod off the server. Today, with the mod installed on single player, I'm absolutely able to delimb trees without a problem. So I wanted to point that out today because I don't want to give the mod a bad name just because I was using it improperly on the dedicated server. So probably a conflict with the dedicated server. Like I said, there were some things that weren't working on the dedicated server, and it may be that maybe there's a different version, or there's an INI file or an XML file tweak that needs to be made to make the mod work on a dedicated server, but it just didn't seem to work in single player, or it didn't seem to work in multiplayer the way it worked in, or it was described, or the way that it was working in single player. So I still got to get with those guys over there at Modding Central and see if I can find out if there's something different you need to do to get it to work on a Dedi server, because I would love to have that on the dedicated server, because it would allow us to like purchase a chainsaw, leave it in there permanently. It would allow us to do things like you know, get rid of the tabbing in vehicles, which again, it's not that huge of a deal, but anything you can do to reduce the amount of server lag for folks on the server is definitely good. So I don't know if I still got stumps up here or not. I think I've got everything. All right, so let's get started here. We're going to cut our field in, and to do that, I'm going to set up GPS. And I think I'm going to come right over here and just somewhere over in this area start off. Now, I don't have to be really precise on this particular field as to how I do everything. I just want to get anywhere the mower could go. I want to make sure that I have good grass planted. And in case you missed yesterday's episode and wondering exactly what I am doing, I'm redoing this field with planted grass versus the Giants grass, because planted grass will yield more. The Giants grass will. So that's the reason for this. Now I'm going to hit Y on my keyboard, which if I bring up the help menu will toggle to allow me to create a field. So right now it doesn't, but now it does. So if I lower it down, it works just like a plow now. And so I'm actually able to define the edge of the field. I'm going to flip on my GPS here so I can get some guides so I can keep my perimeter kind of straight. Go into auto mode there. And I just kind of want to skirt this textured area because I don't want to destroy it, because I like the look of that. And I'll just roll around here, just skirt the edge of that. And then we'll come back up here, and this will probably be where our field begins as far as what we're going to mow. But I'll go ahead and use my GPS as a guide to just kind of square this up a little bit. And again, I don't want to come back too far and eat up the texture, but anywhere I got grass, I kind of just want to get rid of it a little bit. There we go. And again, I don't have to be terribly precise with this. It's not like I'm defining a field that we're going to plant over and over and over for gameplay, and course play is going to be reading it. This is simply to set up a field that we can plant later on down the road and use for whatever we want to do. There we go. And this last little bit right here we'll get. That's good enough. Alright, so now let's just go over and grab this edge here, and we'll run this. And what I want to do is I want to run around the field about 3 times so that I get my perimeter and a buffer done. Then I'll go get the big plow, bring it back, and come do the actual plowing of the whole area. But this just makes it a little bit easier for me to do this now than it would be better. Let me put these guards down so I can get that little flashing warning to stop. So yeah, I love this mod because of this ability to do both your, both your stump grinding as well as use it as a forestry mower. Or as a power takeoff tiller. Very nice. And again, I just want to follow the contour here. I don't want to get into any of the rock stuff. So anywhere there's texture representing the outcropping of stone, I want to leave that. I just want to get where it's just straight grass. Basically going anywhere where the mower would go. And thinking about how would I drive through here with the mower. And that's just the area I want to get. Because that's the area of concern. We're going to get rid of the cheapo grass and get some premium grass. That's the goal anyways. Oh, I may take out a little bit of stone right there. Alright, so we want to get to right about there, and we'll lift. And again, we got our GPS line here that we're going to follow. And I'll go ahead and lower it in. And this is the other nice thing about this. I can just back right up here to where that previous line was. And now if I pull forward, I got a nice clean corner. If I was cutting in like a new field and to use for, sowing crops and stuff, this is really nice for defining the perimeter of the field. Alright, so we'll just drive up through here, and this will give us exactly what we need. And like I said, I'll go around it, 2 times, and then we'll come back and we'll grab a big plow, we'll come in, do our plowing, we'll put a fertilization down, cultivate that in, and then we'll come back in and do our overseeding for grass. Yeah, I am going to use the overseeder, though I'm not really in love with the overseeder. I've sort of touched on this before, but it's not really used properly as an overseeder, in my opinion. I guess in a way it is. But it also adds in an additional fertilizer set. I just don't know. Maybe it's alright. I guess I don't have to use it if I don't like it either. Alright. I think that should be pretty good. Pull over here now. And we'll back up here. Go about right there. Pull forward just a little bit. Let's flip our course 90 degrees and we'll massage it over to where it's a little bit closer to that fence. There we go. I don't think my mower is going to go any closer than that. There we go. We'll back up here. Make our field corner here. That's good with me. And then we'll run up through here. And we should have our edge pretty much defined at this point. Once we get this done. Let's get that gate closed out of the way. Ooh, that was a little nervous moment. So, have you guys been having, those of you who use GPS mod, I'm curious, any of you guys been having issues with the game locking up on you when you go from third camera or third, you know, like drone cam, like I'm in right now, into first person mode? I've been having it a lot lately, and it's really, really annoying when it happens, because it locks the game up and you got to start all over again, and that's a real bummer when that happens. All right, so we can back in here, grab some of this up. And again, this is just detail work that I want to do with this particular device. I could do all this with the Lemken plow, but it doesn't let you be as precise and accurate with everything. And you got to do a whole lot of different... You got to plow one way. If you want to have a square corner, you got to come in one direction. Then you got to turn around and go the other direction. Then you got to turn around and go the other direction. And it's... it can be a bit of a time-consuming thing where I can just knock this out real quick with this forestry mower. Get it done, and then be back to the plowing thing. All right, so let's flip that course back around. Make sure it's matched up with where I'm at. And lock back in. And we'll make, like I said, we'll make a couple of passes here, and then we'll go get the bigger plow and come back and go from there. Looking good, though. Dirty, dirty tractor. I'm not in love with this Massey Ferguson, I gotta say. Yesterday on the multiplayer, had a great time. Chris was on there. Got on. He and I both grabbed a couple of the 8700s, and we did some plowing, which I modified the 8700s. I put, of course, I had big dual wheels on it, but I upped the horsepower on them from the 827 or the 8727s to the 8737s in hope that that would add a little more mass to it and a little more weight to the front. Because even with the big, heavy, full weights on the front of it, using the SOB weights, and having those fully weighted out, I couldn't hardly turn with that Porsche 10-meter plow on there, or quote-unquote cultivator. With it on the front, on the back of this thing, I was sideways. It looked like I was doing the Tokyo Drift the entire time, and it was really frustrating trying to work with, to the point where I almost sold it. I almost sold all of the Massey Ferguson stuff off and went a different direction because it was such a pain. And now I know that 10-meter plow should work pretty good with the Valtra, because I've got an S series on Goldcrest Valley and had run it with the even bigger Knocklin or whatever it is, and didn't have a single problem with it turning or pulling it. Sure, it pulls it a little slow, it's a little under power there, but the turning of it was fine. I didn't have any issues with the implement pushing the tractor. And with this particular tractor and the 10-meter horse, I felt like I was being pushed, and that the tractor could not steer at all using that particular implement. So I don't know. I definitely, on this map, I'll keep that Challenger, because it seems like I'll have to use it to pull the cultivator. But yeah, this will pull the plow just fine, but not the cultivator. The cultivator was doing a number to it. But that could be little glitches within the game still. Seems like Giants, I keep seeing people say Giants has got a new patch coming out soon. There's a lot of stuff they need to patch. There's a lot of bugs in the game. Especially like the Limpkin plow. I don't know if you guys have had it happen, but periodically it'll just sink into the ground, and the back wheels on it will stop functioning completely, which is, once that happens, you've got to reset it and then go get it, because the plow itself won't pull correctly through the field once it does that. If you go get the plow and the wheels are buried up to the axle, you might as well reset it, because it's not going to pull properly through the field, and you're going to have some issues with it. Another issue I had yesterday when I was using this particular tractor to haul the lumber over to the mill, and I had it again today, was all of a sudden it would just dart off the road and go some direction. It was like it grabbed something on the map and just threw it off to the side of the road. Crazy how bad that was. It wasn't anything that I got on video. It happened after I had finished up. I was holding off another load of wood, and it's happened just because I was used to it and knew it was coming. I had adjusted for it when I did the single player stuff here today, but a couple of times I had some issues. Then I had one issue where, and I wish I had gotten it on tape, I had the log trailer completely loaded. All the logs were up against the headache rack, and I was going to get one more log and put it on. I picked that one log up, and in the time it took me to even get it close to the trailer, every log on the trailer had just about slidden complete off. Just ridiculous. Which I touched base on that in the video yesterday about how that had happened to me before. And no sooner did I do that, here we go. I got off and I threw a strap on it, hoping I could get it over to the sawmill completely, with the load completely on there. And by the time I got over the sawmill, there was like, and a weird thing happened too. All right, so I must have had 10 or 12 logs on the trailer. When it started doing that whole slide thing, I jumped off and I put a strap on it, and right after I put a strap on there was maybe 6 logs left on the trailer. The rest of them had just magically vanished. And I thought, well, maybe it's just a graphic glitch and they're still there, because of course you see the strap is deformed, and it's got that big loop in it that looks like it's looped over a whole bunch of logs, which originally it was. So I thought, well, maybe it's just a graphics glitch. I'll drive it on over real slow over to the sawmill. By the time I got to the sawmill, there was one log left on the trailer. It was barely dangling there. And it was the only thing I got paid for. I don't know where the rest of the logs went. I drove back down the road. They weren't there. It was totally bizarre. Like, I backtracked all the way back to the farm to see if, well, did they fall off, or are they laying on the ground? Because I'm going to, need to get those up so they're not laying there. Nah. They're just vanished. It's like somebody came and sprayed that Poobie Gone or whatever on it, and poof, gone. All your worries are gone, vanished. But yeah, that was a trailer load of wood I didn't get paid for, so that kind of stunk. Alright, I think this is a good enough buffer. So when we get back up to the gate, we'll run over, we'll get the Limpkin plow, we'll bring it up here, and we will set forth with getting the rest of this area plowed up. So as you can see, we're just getting started. I haven't even harvested field 5 yet, but I figured since we started this project yesterday on the multiplayer, and I went ahead and finished it on the multiplayer because, again, trying to get things done before a whole bunch of people jump on there and start getting in the way of what I was doing, It's hard for me to record on the multiplayer without locking it down and keeping everybody off of it, and I don't like locking it down that often because, well, I like for people to be on there playing, right? So I figure, well, since I'm going to do a single player playthrough, I'll just jump on and I'll record myself doing that and the single player playthrough, and we'll do that, and then we'll get to doing the harvesting stuff after that. Alrighty. Pretty much done with this. We'll let that spool down. We'll jump into the garage and we'll return this real quick so we don't have to worry about it anymore. Return the item. There we go. And somebody's big loud truck just drove by. Oh, it's so nice outside this morning, so I got the windows open a little bit just to keep the office cool and get that breeze going through. Alright. Alrighty. Keep the house from being stagnant. I don't like stuffiness. I try to keep my windows open as much as possible. Air the house out. Maybe that's the reason I have so many allergies. I don't know. All right. Let's see. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? We don't have a... I don't think we have any weights. Let's look. I don't know that we got any weights with this particular farm. They always give you equipment, but they're not so sparing on weights. Nope, didn't get any weights. So let's go to the store and buy one. I do like to have me a weight on. And you'll know where I'm going with it. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Cha-ching. Thank you very much. All right. And we'll get that delivered to the farm. Because, you know, no need us driving up there and picking it up when they can deliver something that we paid for. I mean, as much money as we spend with this shop, I mean, it's not like we're going to their competitor. Oh, they don't have a competitor. Yeah. So I've got the default equipment for the map on here. Eventually, I'll probably sell off a lot of this equipment and replace it with some different stuff that we want to use. I still haven't decided what theme I'm going to have for this map or what direction I'm going to go equipment-wise on this particular map. But, yeah. I'm thinking I might put some modded tractors in here. Maybe some John Deere stuff. I don't know. Might do just a lot of Challenger equipment. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I got to decide which planter I want to keep. Do I want to keep the 9-meter or the 6-meter planter? I found it interesting that he didn't give you a corn planter on this particular map. He gave you the you got the Rapid 600, and this is the Pronto 9, but both of these are cereal planters. If we look at it in the thing, I kind of overlooked it in the walkthrough or the first look at this, but if you look, you've got the Vaterstat Rapid 6. This is all grains. It's all your grain products. It's no corn or sugar beets or any of that stuff. And then when you run over to the 9, it's the same thing. It's the DC9. This is just the 9-meter version. So you don't have a way to plant corn right off the bat. You have to buy a seeder. So you're going to sell one of them. And I will probably keep the 9-meter and sell off the Rapid 600. Though I do love the Rapid 600, I have to say. Probably has to be, of all the stuff in the game, as far as seeders go, it probably has to be my favorite of all of them. But as big as the fields are on this particular map, it's a little undersized for it. Alright, so we'll head back up to the farm, make sure our wheels aren't dug into the ground so this thing works properly. So yeah, what happens is if your wheels fall into the ground with this particular plow for some reason, and I haven't messed with it on single player enough to see if it's a single player issue as well as a multiplayer issue, but definitely it happens quite a bit on the dedicated server. It could just be a dedicated server issue. It could not work well on the dedicated server, but we have had quite a bit of problems with it over on the Dedi. But once it does that, there's a pivot point for both the back wheel and that center traveling axle. And if it goes through and glitches into the ground, that pivot point won't actually function, and the wheels will travel instead of traveling straight up the field. They'll travel at an angle, and they'll almost be plowing into the dirt, and you have issues with it. So yeah, it doesn't work at that point. Need to hit Y so we can create the field here. There we go. Alright, so let's add a little bit of weight to the front for steering, and let's go ahead and set up here, get a straight. I'm just going to lock onto that GPS signal to get a nice straight plow going. And with that done, and plowing, this thing plows really wide too. It's not completely accurate. Now we can just go ahead and automate this, get everything to where it should be. 5.3 looks right. The offset should be about 6. Sometimes I run it up to about 9 on the offset, but we'll go with 5.3, we'll go with 6 and see how that works. Yeah, it should work all right for us. Oh, I forgot to plow around the rock. Ah, bum deal. Yeah, we'll do it with this thing. Not as easy. We should have done it with the other one. Confession, this is my second time doing this. I got everything perimeter-wise done and had plowed around the rock and was getting ready to go get this guy to continue to plow when the game locked up for me trying to go into first-person view. So yeah, that's always a happy moment for you when that happens. You've spent all that time doing everything, and then all of a sudden it just goes, guess what? Lock up. Are we in the field? We're in the field. There we go. The question is, do I dare jump into the tractor? There's a trick though. If you're scared it's going to lock up on you, stop, get out of the tractor and get back in, and you're in first person. That's the way I get around it now. If I'm like doing a live stream or something and I'm concerned that it'll lock the game up, which right now I'm concerned that it'll lock the game up because it just did for me a little while ago, jump in and out of the tractor and it won't lock the game up. But yeah, I'm curious, are you guys having issues with that? I know a couple of people who are having issues with it, and most people seem to think it's GPS. GPS related issue. And, you know, come to think of it, just about every time it does it to me, I have GPS enabled. Like if I don't have the GPS locked in, it doesn't seem to be an issue. Alright, so let's back this guy up a little bit. Swing out wide. That little bit of bouncing is just track IR. Trying to figure out where my headset is. Alright. Hopefully all this matches up and we get everything plowed up. Looking good. We're right on the edge there. GPS sets up the plow at 5.3 and 0.6 for the offset. As I said, sometimes I like to run it at about 5, and as far as the working width, 5 meters, and the offset at 0.9, and that seems to work out pretty good. That's what I've been doing it in multiplayer to get it to make sure that it seems up. Yesterday, Chris and I were having a lot of issues matching up, and 5 and 0.9 worked really good for us when we were doing gang plowing. Otherwise, we were just off slightly, and we kept having issues with it. So. Every time I did the auto detect, it would give me something different. And maybe that was just a server issue, but every time we auto detected, we get something different. And even if we pulled straight forward and adjusted everything to make sure I was pulling completely straight, we had some issues with it. Which I typically like to scale down the working width a little bit anyways, because you know, it gives you a little bit of margin for error. I know other people who want to be just terribly efficient and get things done as fast as possible. They want to push it all the way out to the very max working width to make sure that they get every little bit of it done. But doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me to miss a little bit. All right, back her up a little bit. Oh, missed a little bit there. I was trying to avoid that. All right. So a few more passes we got to go, and then we'll have this whole thing plowed up. We'll do an application, like I said, an application of fertilizer. I'll grab the cultivator. We'll run through it with it, and then we'll seed it. And whatever we don't get done today, we'll do on our next episode. Alright, I'm going to back her up, flip my plow over. Going to flip my plow over. I say, Sean, I'm going to flip my plow over. Why are you not rotating, plow? I'll raise up. Now rotate. Ah, there we go. It always helps to raise the plow up there, moron. Oh, not enough coffee this morning. I will blame that. I will blame it on not enough coffee. All right. So I just want to run a ring around this little rock here. And again, I'm just wanting to get what is, to me, usable grass done. And I don't want to get into the rock stuff. What would look like a rock texture. I want to leave all that stuff for aesthetics. Because it looks so good. Getting a little closer. Alright, I'm swinging a little wide. I could come back in a little tighter with that. But again, we're going right where think the mower will travel. That's good enough. All right. Re-rotate. And we'll work our way back around. Oh, there was a nervous moment right there. All right. All right, cool. So let's keep on going. Hey, so real quick, while we got a little bit of time in the video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Discord and how to behave in there. I'm going to try today to get a little welcome section in there on Discord. Up on the upper left-hand corner, you've got the different text channels. There's the general channel. There's some announcements. There's a farm sim channel. I'm going to make a new channel in there called Welcome, and that is going to be for new people coming into Discord, to where that's where you need to go the first time you come in there, and just give it a gander. Take a look at what's said in there, because it's just going to give you an overview of what's expected behavior-wise on Discord. I think people don't really understand that basically the same rules that apply for a live stream apply for Discord as well. I have a lot of viewers that are young viewers. I have a lot of family viewers. I have a lot of moms and dads who watch the videos with their kids, and they're young. They're very young. And so the conversations that are carried on in Discord need to be, for the most part, very, very clean conversations. So I ask you, when you're on Discord, think about it this way, okay? If you were at a 5-year-old's birthday party and you were being sat around by, if you're an adult, and there were 5-year-olds sitting around you, with the conversation you're about to type into the chat, would you do that around those 5-year-olds? Just think about that before you do it. There are ways to communicate things that can be clean, but there's also some subject matter that just isn't appropriate for Discord in the general chat and everything. Now look, if it's you and your buddy sitting in a channel, y'all can talk about whatever you want, as long as somebody else doesn't come in there. And if somebody comes in there, you're having a private conversation, you know, maybe you need to create a Discord channel yourself and go sneak into it for a little bit and talk about it. But for the most part, try to keep your conversations in there very, very, very clean. And again, what you may think is tasteful or appropriate, other people might not. So just, I don't want to become censor, and sometimes some things get said that, again, I might look at them and think, well, that's just absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then 15 minutes later, I get a note from somebody saying they think that's completely inappropriate. So, you know, how far do I have to lean one direction or the other? That's one of those things it's tough to gauge, you know. I want to try to keep it nice and clean for everybody. I can't keep it squeaky clean, obviously. It's just not going to happen. At the same time, with that said, if you say something in chat and a moderator comes to you and says something to you about it, just say thanks and move on the way. Don't. They're not doing anything mean to you. They're just trying to help steer you in the right direction. They're trying to let you know that, hey, some people might find that offensive. Just, you know, it might not be appropriate. So just kind of think about that. They're not trying to get down on you, unless you're just completely going against them. If you start a confrontation for you, that's a real good way to, you know, find the door. So again, don't be offended by it. And a lot of times, don't be offended if somebody says something to you in open chat, because I've told them And please understand my philosophy on this. I've told the moderators that if somebody says something in open chat that is disrespectful or is inappropriate, call it out. And the reason for that is, and again, I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm trying to make sure that other people understand what is what. And you might say something that's a little bit inappropriate, and they may say, hey, that comment's not really appropriate. You might want to, please don't do it again. They're not trying to come down on you. What they're trying to do is also convey to everybody else that it wasn't appropriate. And again, it's not to call you out and to bring you down. It's just to bring attention to everybody as to, that something negative was said or something like that, and it's not an appropriate behavior. So I hope everybody understands that. We're not trying to, when the moderators say things to you, they're not trying to come down on you and swing a hammer and beat you down and make you feel bad. They're not trying to, embarrass you. They're not trying to, make you feel less of a person or whatever. They're just trying to help keep the channel clean and try and keep it very family oriented, which I've asked them to do. And that may or may not be your setting. And if it's not, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to keep it a nice, clean atmosphere where people feel comfortable coming in and talking and hanging out and chilling out. Some of the cliques get a little bit more relaxed and they feel good together and their conversations change a little bit. And sometimes I have to slap them a little bit and say, hey, remember, if somebody else came in the channel, you need to know. So anyways, I'll lay all that out a little bit also in the little welcome statement, because we have been getting a lot of people show up that are new, that really don't have any idea as to how we operate in Discord. So again, it's got to be kept family friendly, so please respect that. Even myself, I make mistakes every once in a while. I get a little relaxed and I might say some things that, the words are clean, but they might have some overtones in it that parents might not find appreciative. And so even myself, I slip up and make the mistake. So yeah, so please don't get offended. Just understand that the moderators are there not to slap you around, but they're there to just steer you in the right direction. And the problem with text messages also is people can convey them in the wrong manner. You never know. You can read too much into stuff. If I send you a text message with 20 words in it, I could mean it one way and you can totally take it the wrong way. Or, I might mean it to be really harsh and you might think I'm joking. And that's the unfortunate thing about text. But, just so you know, nobody's trying to embarrass anybody or anything else like that when they point out that the message might be inappropriate, and it's a moving target too, my moderators, I talk to them on a consistent basis about, what I expect, and I really don't want them coming down hard on people. I really just want them to be there to catch the people that are blatantly being a problem, and then also just kind of steer people in the right direction. So, and they do a really good job, and I have a lot of respect for them. So, and the last thing I like to hear is anybody who talks down to them. They're there just like you, trying to have a good time. Don't beat them up. They're just trying to help out. So they don't make any money for what they do or anything else like that. They're just good people. Anyways, with that said, The welcome section is also going to state a little bit about the farm sim server and what the requirements are going to be to get on the server. And as far as a moving target, that's still a moving target as well. I'm trying to work out exactly what I want to do to try to make sure we're still getting good people on the server and not just the, ooh, this is a neat little idea, I'm going to jump on here and then realize that, oh, well, this isn't my type of environment and cause problems. So, I think I'm going to set it up to where to curb the impulse people who just, oh, he's got a server, I'm going to jump on it and play farm sim for, you know, and then realize I don't like the way they play farm sim on here, I'm gone. I think what I'm going to do to curb the impulse guys is I'm just going to go ahead and say that when you join Discord, you need to be part of Discord for a week before I'm even going to tell you, okay, here's the information on the server. And if you really want to play with a good group of multiplayer people, that's not too much to ask. I don't think it's too much to say, hey, hang out with us for a week, get to know the players, get to know the people, and then after you've been here for about a week and you think this is an environment that you want to be in, then I'll give you the information to get on the server. It'll give you a week to live within the rules of it and maybe to really think about what we're asking, and then you can jump on there. And so I think that's the route I'm gonna have. I've talked to a bunch of people and gotten some suggestions on what to do, and I don't think that's too unreasonable to ask. So this is going to be sort of the way I move forward with it. And that way it'll also curb the people who are just beating me up constantly about the server and everything, and, you know, sending me 15 emails when I'm not on Discord, or 15 private messages when I'm on Discord. One private message is good enough. I don't always sit on Discord looking at Discord. I don't log out of Discord, however, so if you see my name and you see that I'm online, yes, I'm online, but I'm not necessarily sitting in Discord reading chat. I may be in another part of the house doing something. I might be out at the farm doing something, and I just didn't log out, because I never log out. I'm always logged in. It's not something, and those of you who have seen me on Steam know I never log out of Steam either. So I mean, that's just the way I roll. I'm always online. My account's always on unless I restart my computer, and then it's offline. If my computer's on, I'm pretty much usually logged in. So when I get the time to sit down and read through all the messages, and remember, you're not the only person messaging me, I will get to your message. But I can guarantee you this: if you hammer me in a 2-hour period with 10 messages, you're probably gonna be the last person I respond to. Patience is a virtue. And again, I can't reiterate enough, I get a ton of messages, so keep that in mind. All right. This last little bit plowed up. And it'll be cultivation time. But it looks like we're just about coming to the end of our video for the day. Got a lot done though. It looks pretty good to me. Alright, so next time we're here, we'll bust out the cultivator. We'll run it through the field, and then we'll grab the overseeder. We'll overseed this with grass. I gotta fertilize too, so not to forget the fertilizer. So yeah, there's a lot to do still. So we'll grab the fertilizer, we'll come in here, we'll spread this field with a little bit of fertilizer, and then we'll come back with the cultivator, run it through to dig that fertilizer in, and then once that's done, we'll be ready to run the overseeder in. So 3 more steps, and then we'll have this field taken care of, and we'll be ready to move forth with doing a little harvesting and work on the farm a little bit. So anyways, that's what we'll do the next time. I do appreciate you watching today. If you've enjoyed the video, glad you liked it. Consider smacking that like button for me. Helps me out quite a bit. Also, feel free to share the videos as you see fit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I try to do new videos each and every day. And, yeah. And for a while, they're going to be farm sim related. I took a little bit of time to stop and smell the roses of some other stuff because farm sim just wasn't doing it for me. But now that I got a map that I like, and I like a lot, I'm probably going to be playing farm sim quite a bit. So the channel will probably get back to its roots and be a lot more farm sim related coming up here. And you guys enjoy it. I mean, I'm not going to lie, farm sim's my best content. When I put a farm sim video up, I know I'm going to get a lot of views on it and a lot of people enjoy it. But at the same time, there's other games that I really enjoy playing, and I like to record videos on those as well. And I will continue to. And but the channel as a whole, farm sim is definitely the it's definitely the highest response I get as far as stuff. ATS does. It's sort of between ATS and farm sim, and then man, they really just didn't give you a little itty bitty tractor, did you? I think I'll probably sell the Massey Ferguson. I'll probably keep the Fent and the Valtra, sell the Massey, and use the Massey to get a few other things. And I may sell the windmill, because I don't like the windmill. Not a big fan of the windmill. I might sell it. That's 600,000 that we can get immediately in monies. We're going to keep the we are going to keep the Challenger. As I said, I'm going to need it to be pulling that cultivator. So we're going to keep the baler, the Challenger. We'll keep the Bergman. I don't know about the overloader. I'm still mixed emotions about the overloader. We'll keep the Bergman forage harvester. We'll end up selling off the Lieberman because I just would rather have either the JCB or the New Holland. So we'll sell that off. We'll sell off the mower and get a offset mower. Probably going to sell off the Vatterstadt and get the 9-meter corn seeder, which is the Horsch. What is it? The Horsch Magestro or whatever it's called. Sewing machines. It is, yeah, the Horsch Maestro 12. So we'll get that. And that will be our seeder for corn and everything. Yeah, I like that. That's a good seeder. And so we'll go that direction. And we should be good at that point. We'll keep this guy for the weeding and for overseeding. And we'll, as much as I don't love it, I'm gonna use it and use it for the for doing the oilseed radish. And there's a few other little toys that I want to get along the way, but I think that'll be good. We'll keep the Fent. I'll probably throw, I don't know. I was thinking about throwing dual wheels up on the Fent. So having duals on it, sell that one, get a different Fent, and put some small row crop tires on it to do the spraying and fertilizing and all that stuff. And we'll keep the Valtra as well. So anyways, that's the game plan. All right, enough of that. If I don't wrap it up, I'll never wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys. Have yourself a great day. Again, thanks for the support. I do appreciate it. I can't say it enough, guys. Love doing these videos for you guys. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you'll come back and join me tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and may God bless you and your family. I will see you later. Bye-bye.